Tonight on CTV News.
I'm not a savior for the downtown Eastside.
A high-profile advisor appointed to tackle the downtown Eastside crisis. The scope of his work, his pay, and the skepticism also.
We demand change. We demand change.
The quest for accountability. Families of murder victims rally for answers and justice. Plus,
we're making very few movies now. Hollywood is being destroyed.
BC's film industry facing uncertainty after the U.S. president threatens huge tariffs on foreign film.
This is CTV News with Michelle Brunoro.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Mi Jung is off tonight. It's a position plagued by controversy. Now a high-profile point person has been tasked to look into the crisis on the downtown east side. Former Mayor and Senator Larry Campbell is the latest advisor to seek solutions to the problems facing the beleaguered neighborhood. But as CTV's Shannon Patterson reports, critics are questioning Campbell's appointment.
In his 77 years, Larry Campbell has worn a lot of hats. Police officer, BC's chief coroner, mayor of Vancouver, Canadian senator, and the inspiration for the TV show Da Vinci's Inquest. Now Campbell has a new role, the province's downtown east side advisor.
I think I should start by saying I'm not a czar, just for everybody's knowledge, and I'm not a savior for the downtown east side.
But Campbell does hope to bring change to Canada's poorest neighborhood by working with stakeholders to create a process where people living on the downtown east side can tackle mental health and addictions and move into housing.
I know that the downtown east side has been over-consulted, over-reported on, but I wouldn't have taken this position if I wasn't sure that with the help of these people and with the help of all three levels of government, that we can make changes here for the downtown east side.
Campbell is not the first person in this role. In February, the province hired former Ontario Attorney General Michael Bryant for the same position, only to abruptly terminate his contract in May.
We've already, as taxpayers, spent $75,000 on the previous downtown east side czar, and we had no deliverables. We had nothing coming out of that money being spent. I'm not confident at this point that this is going to get the job done. We need leadership right now. Like, we don't need more studies and more reports.
But many organizations that work in the downtown east side are optimistic about Campbell, who as mayor supported the 4 pillars approach to drug addiction and ushered in the country's first safe injection site.
I'm actually couldn't think of a better person to do this job, and I'm really thankful, and I actually feel a bit of optimism, which I haven't, in a long time.
Our hope is that by having somebody like Mr. Campbell come in, we can actually have systemic change through actual consultation process, through walking with all levels of government, and actually having someone who can kind of hold all of us together and accountable for true change.
Campbell will be paid $92,000 for his 6-month contract, which is significantly less than his predecessor would have made had he not been let go early. It's unclear how success will be measured, but the man of many hats is ready for his next role. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Family and friends of victims of unsolved murder investigations gathered outside the Surrey courthouse today calling for action. They say both police and the BC Prosecution Service have let them down. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has the story.
We demand change. We demand change.
Their message, loud and clear. Years have gone by since their loved ones were taken from them, and they're tired of waiting for closure.
We're looking for justice. We're looking for answers. We have families here going on 4 years with no answers, no help.
Christine Angelis' daughter, Keisha Gary, was found dead in a car with her fiancé, Umair Kasim, in Burnaby 3 years ago. The pair had been reported missing to Mounties in Coquitlam 2 days prior. The Integrated Homicide Investigation Team took over the investigation right away, but charges have yet to be laid.
This has destroyed me. It's destroyed my life. I had my daughter when I was 17. She was my everything. She was the joy of our family.
CTV News reached out to IHIT about the investigation but have not heard back. Among the crowd was family members of Devin Goodrick, who was last seen in Surrey 4 years ago. IHIT has conduct of that case as well. No charges have been laid.
Families don't get enough information as to why prosecutions aren't going through.
Surrey Cloverdale MLA Eleanor Sturko points out that in most provinces, the charge assessment standard is reasonable likelihood of conviction. In BC, it's a substantial likelihood.
We need the government to listen to these families who've been denied justice, who've been told by police that there is reasonable grounds to go ahead with charges, and the government hasn't done that.
Angeles did not want to comment on if that was the situation in her daughter's case, but says changes need to be made to bring those responsible to justice.
They should be protecting us. They should be protecting the victims, but instead they're protecting the perpetrators.
Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Surrey.
The City of Vancouver has closed its equity office as part of larger budget cuts it's making at City Hall. New City Manager Donna Van Dyke sent an email to staff last week informing them of the change. That email also wishes outgoing Chief Equity Officer Susanna Tam all the best in her future endeavors. Councillor Rebecca Bly would not confirm the equity office closure, citing confidentiality, but did say this.
It's a confidential update. I don't like commenting on confidential items in the media, and I won't. But what I will say is this is part of the chaos that is being created when we are looking to bottom line a budget without doing the work to strategically focus our work where it needs to happen.
It's symbolic of a larger chaotic approach, an unorganised approach that is a real worry if we're concerned about having thoughtful, planned decision-making.
The City of Vancouver says the closure of the office will result in savings of $285,000. Canada is officially listing the Bishnoi gang as a terrorist entity. It comes as officials in Surrey try to deal with rampant extortion threats targeting the South Asian community. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more.
The Bishnoi gang is led by Lawrence Bishnoi, who reportedly coordinated criminal activities from his cell phone in an Indian prison for the last decade. For months, the South Asian community in Surrey has been the target of extortion threats and violence. The Fed's decision follows requests from municipal and provincial politicians, the Premier calling it the right move.
This will give the police the tools that they need to seize the assets of these gangs and their members that are operating in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario. It'll give them additional tools for arrest to keep our streets safe.
The listing bars Canadians from financing or aiding the group. The new designation allows authorities to seize property and freeze accounts. Ottawa says this will help fight crime targeting prominent members of India's diaspora in Canada.
This is such a challenging time for us in Surrey especially. People are frightened and they do feel terrorized.
One former policing official believes the Fed's decision won't make any difference, adding it's only going to raise the profile of the Bishnoi gang and its leader.
Right now, the phenomenon is controlled by local thugs who have no association whatsoever to Lawrence Bishnoi and his group back in India. This is absolutely ridiculous if they think they are going to make a difference in this crime.
Kash Heed says the province should follow the lead of other policing agencies.
Edmonton Police Service and the Peel Regional, they have had an incredible amount of success because they are unified, they've got on-the-ground resources, and they've increased the lines of communication with the victims and law enforcement.
Earlier this month, Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke put forward a $250,000 reward for convictions relating to extortions. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Surrey.
A wildfire that forced residents near Peachland out of their homes last week is still burning out of control, but showed little growth over the weekend. Overcast conditions helped slow the fire that has remained at 310 hectares. An evacuation order for an industrial area of town was downgraded to an alert today. All of the residents evacuated on Thursday have since been allowed to return home, though they've been told to be ready to leave on short notice. This is one of 5 out-of-control wildfires still burning in the province. And still ahead tonight, lights, camera, tariffs. The film industry is the latest to find itself caught in Trump's crosshairs. How people in the industry here in BC are reacting. But first, you are looking at a live shot of Robson Street. It's 15 degrees on a rainy evening. Stephanie, is that rain going to stick around?
Well, it is mild out there, and we are holding on to our daytime temperatures right now, so that's good news. But yeah, it's eased off a little bit. Some light rain out there right now. We're expecting some more rains for the evening hours. Here's a look at our current temperatures where we're sitting. So we should be a lot cooler than we are right now. If you can see, still very mild out there, and that's going to be the trend through the overnight. So we're going to hold on to well above seasonal overnight lows. We're going to hit a high of 16 degrees for Truth and Reconciliation Day. We'll see some breaks in the morning, which is wonderful. It'll be late into the late afternoon, evening when the rain really picks up again.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
So the rain is sticking around. How long and how much we're going to get, that is coming up with your full forecast.
Okay, you know what? We did need some rain, but this felt like quite a bit when I was coming into work this morning.
But there is hope in the long range.
All right, thanks for that, Stephanie. Well, Donald Trump has injected some drama into the BC film industry, threatening it once again with huge levies, claiming foreign productions have stolen from Hollywood. The U.S. president says any production not shot in the U.S. will face blockbuster tariffs. CTV's Sinjin Alexander has the details.
Well aware the U.S. president tends to change his mind and has threatened this before, this multi-billion-dollar industry and the government that supports it isn't sure what's coming next.
Well, it depends on whoever's golfing with the president of the United States to know what the tweet will be the next day.
That post has Trump complaining the U.S. movie business is being stolen, and so he will be imposing a 100% tariff on all movies made outside the U.S.
And we're making very few movies now. Hollywood is being destroyed.
That would have a devastating impact on BC's economy. These are the locations where Netflix alone shoots around Metro Vancouver.
So if U.S. production disappears, that's going to leave a big hole in the industry right across the country and throughout the world.
Well, I disagree with anything that guy says. He drives me crazy.
And yet there's a lot of confusion over how such levies could be imposed. Many productions are international affairs.
Shogun.
Like Shogun, would it be considered a series or movie shot in BC involving actors from Japan, yet its country of origin is the U.S.?
What would the political reaction be? I mean, we just saw the reaction when Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air for 3 days, right? And there was a huge groundswell against that, including some Republicans who are against that.
Films are also not necessarily considered a good, but instead a service, and there are no levies on services. There would likely be lawsuits and debates over free speech, all issues being watched carefully by the BC government, who would struggle to support an industry with such high U.S. penalties.
So our message to the industry is we're going to be there to support you. Let's wait for the details to come out. Let's not jump to conclusions until we have those details. And the reality is the film industry from the U.S. doesn't come up here to British Columbia to do us favors. They come up here is because we have the best crews, we have professionals.
Professionals who are hoping this will pass while insisting the cameras are still rolling. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Was there any hope of boosting housing supply while driving down prices? A coalition of industry groups and advocates says it's within reach if the provincial government commits to a long-term advisory group. As Penny Dathlots reports, the minister is lukewarm on the idea.
As British Columbians continue to struggle with sky-high housing costs, some projects are now on hold as planning for more evaporates.
It's never been worse than it is today.
Townhome builders can't build townhomes anymore.
Various stakeholders have teamed up with the BC Real Estate Association, calling on the province to establish a permanent advisory group to get housing built faster and cheaper.
You can't keep pushing to densify communities if you don't have the money to invest in the infrastructure and the amenities.
Step code is a low-hanging fruit.
How would a roundtable make any difference when they're clearly making decisions based on a number of factors?
What this roundtable is talking about doing is bringing that collective voice to this province so that maybe in the near future we'll actually have some consultation before policies have been developed and implemented.
The real question is to the province. Are they going to listen? Are they going to get their ego out of the way? Are they going to not be so stubborn? You know, it must be apparent to them that there are a whole bunch of unintended consequences of what they have unleashed.
The current housing minister has been on the job for 3 months and says she's already met with hundreds of local leaders on housing.
We've been taking large and serious action on a serious crisis, and we're always open to hearing from leaders and stakeholders in it, so I look forward to continuing that conversation.
While the Real Estate Association credits Premier David Eby with taking the housing crisis seriously,
I think it just comes down to make your decisions with the right people there. And that data is sitting unused.
Penny Dafflaw, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still on the picket lines, the latest on the strike from Canada Post and the changes that are coming, plus cookie concerns. Scammers target the Girl Guides cookie fundraiser, the warning and how to avoid being tricked. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Canada Post workers are on strike for the second time in less than a year. And while the dispute is with the federal government, many small businesses are once again paying the price. CTV's Caitlin Wilson reports.
This is all local pickups.
Hundreds of packages from online orders sit at the back of the record center waiting to be mailed out. On top of that, dozens of packages already sent are now stuck in limbo after postal workers walked off the job.
They announced this strike overnight. And so they didn't give me an opportunity. I have all these packages, maybe 20 or 30 packages in transit that are sitting somewhere. That's 20 or 30 customers that aren't happy.
Owner John Thompson started selling records online during the pandemic alongside his brick-and-mortar store. Now new orders are being diverted to private couriers, and he's taking a financial hit.
Right now I'm probably losing $5 on every item I ship because my new method is more expensive.
This is the second strike in less than a year. It comes after the federal government announced a plan to end door-to-door delivery over the next decade, among other changes. A move the union says will mean widespread job losses. And the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says the last strike alone cost small businesses more than $1 billion.
Canadian small businesses are thinking of turning away from Canada Post because they're not reliable, they're not predictable. And so this is where the private sector can end up taking a larger market share of a service that is declining.
For businesses that rely on platforms like Etsy or sell strictly online, the impact is even greater. Ananda Elixirs, an online wellness store, has more than 100 orders stuck at Canada Post, and shipping to rural areas has become far more expensive.
The other day when I was trying to ship some of these packages, with Canada Post it would be $9, right? With the other options, it was $65 to $70 to ship the same little package, this big, to, a remote area in Alberta.
And the owners say the unreliability has them thinking twice about going back to Canada Post.
Unless there's a new agreement signed and they get it squared away, I don't see us going back.
The Vancouver Art Gallery has chosen the architecture team that will lead the next phase of design for its new home. Following a months-long search, BC's Formline Architecture and Ontario's KPMB Architects will be tasked with creating a design for the new Vancouver Art Gallery at West Georgia and Cambie, based in West Vancouver. Formline is behind the design of many Indigenous-themed projects in BC, including the Residential School History Centre at UBC. The two companies will work toward a conceptual design in 2026. Well, it's a sweet fundraiser that helps empower girls across the province. But the BC Girl Guides are warning people to be careful about who they buy their cookies from.
We've become aware recently of a couple of reports or suggestions that people have been in local discussion groups and neighborhood groups on Facebook trying to sell Girl Guide cookies, receive e-transfers for them, who have nothing to do with Girl Guides, and as far as we can tell, do not have any cookies in their possession.
The organization recommends buying the chocolate mint cookies directly from a Girl Guide in your community or visiting girlguides.ca to find upcoming sales near you. Girl Guides began selling cookies in 1927, and it continues to be their main source of funding. The price remains $6 a box, with proceeds helping fund all sorts of skill-building projects and adventures. Well, coming up, a suspect arrested and charged after a Canadian is killed while on vacation in the U.S.
I'm shocked. I don't even really know what to say.
The shocking crime and what we're learning about the man now accused of first-degree reckless homicide. We are learning more about the shooting death of a Canadian man killed while on a golf trip to Wisconsin. The suspect, arrested and charged with first-degree reckless homicide, made a court appearance today. CTV's John Venevalley-Rao has the latest.
The accused made a video appearance in a Wisconsin courthouse. 35-year-old Luis Cruz Burgos read his rights using a Spanish interpreter and charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of Mike Robinson, who grew up in Stouffville, Ontario, and who'd been on a golfing trip with friends and family when things went horribly wrong. A murder that stunned locals.
I'm shocked. I don't even really know what to say.
This was Robinson last week celebrating a hole-in-one. Afterwards, he and 3 other men went to celebrate at a bar in Sheboygan, which is north of Milwaukee. A criminal complaint lays out how Robinson and the others tried to get an Uber back to their hotel at around midnight, and failing that, approached Cruz Burgos, a DoorDash driver, for 9 months and tried to negotiate paying him for a lift. Police obtained surveillance picking up the sound of their interaction. One man said he wasn't going to give the driver $40 for 5 minutes of work, and they walked away. Another man said Cruz Burgos drove off, but then doubled back. That's when he heard a pop and Robinson say, "I'm dying." The 32-year-old passed away from a single gunshot wound to the chest. His wife gave birth to a baby girl just 6 weeks ago.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
That charge has not been proven yet.
In the criminal complaint, Cruz Burgos claims the men called him stupid, and one of them flipped him off, and he says he didn't shoot anyone. In court, authorities said he has no known criminal record. Upon news of his arrest, the Robinson family issued a statement to local media, expressing our deepest gratitude to the police department for acting swiftly and making the arrest. If convicted, Cruz Burgos could face up to 60 years in prison. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to support Robinson's family, which has so far raised almost $250,000. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
It's a home away from home for families of kids receiving life-saving medical treatment. And today, Ronald McDonald House announced they will open a second facility.
With the current house at full capacity, this important project will help Ronald McDonald House continue its mission of supporting more families across BC and the Yukon. It's going to meet current and future demand by providing equitable access to comfortable accommodation and compassionate care while kids get the treatment that they need.
Willow House will double the number of families it can be accommodated with 75 new fully accessible suites. It will also offer programs such as music and art therapy, as well as daily family meals. The federal government has invested more than $18 million into the project, whose fundraising is still ongoing. Ronald McDonald House hopes to break ground on the new facility next summer. A commemorative installation was unveiled today to celebrate the legacy of the Invictus Games in Vancouver.
It is a space where people can come revisit those wonderful memories. Whereas the cenotaph is very somber, this is a really joyous area that you can come to.
The space inside the Vancouver Convention Centre showcases medals, milestones, and expressions of gratitude to the many volunteers involved. The Invictus Games, founded by Prince Harry, brought more than 550 veterans from across the world to Vancouver and Whistler earlier this year to compete in adaptive sports. Well, coming up, a residential school survivor shares his experience and what he says needs to change still. Plus,
opened the door and grabbed my purse with our passports, all our documents.
Renting a car on vacation, the terrifying experience of a Canadian couple stranded on the side of the road and robbed. What you should know.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Many Canadians will be wearing orange tomorrow as the country marks the 5th National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. But first, we hear from a residential school survivor who wants to address an ongoing concern causing harm, and a warning some viewers may find the subject matter distressing. CTV's Yvonne Raymond has more.
A residential school survivor who's long shared the horrors he's faced addresses people denying the truth at the raising of a flag.
Residential school really happened. I was there.
And he wants to keep the conversation going.
We're fighting against a very big tidal wave to try to get our truth out there. Racism and denialism is in fact getting worse.
Historians say the political realm is part of the problem.
We are seeing it spread from the very far right into the more mainstream right. In our age of mis and disinformation, denialism is a strategy to distract. It is trying to keep Canadians stuck in the colonial cul-de-sac.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission spent 6 years traveling across Canada, listening to testimony from 6,500 people, studying millions of documents, and found Canada's residential school system was a form of cultural genocide.
I'm going to be really brutal here. I went to residential school. I was raped as a child. I was beaten as a child for speaking my language. I was beaten as a child for practicing my culture. What if this was your child?
As Canadians prepare to mark the day for truth and reconciliation, they're reminded truth comes first.
We do need to be aware of both the history and how some are seeking to twist, downplay, and minimize that history.
This survivor believes community well-being depends on listening.
The children that went to residential school carry trauma. They pass that trauma on to their children, their grandchildren, and they're still getting passed on. And on the other side, the non-Indigenous people who are watching us, they're watching us behave because of the trauma that we carry, and they're hating us for it. They're passing on that hate to their children, to their grandchildren, and they're going to continue to pass that hate on to their grandchildren until we have a conversation in a safe way, in a safe circle. That is never going to change.
Yvonne Raymond, CTV News, Victoria.
First Nations in BC are calling for a meeting with the Prime Minister in hopes of both protecting and reviving the wild salmon population.
We have Aboriginal rights. We have inherent rights. And if they were looked after appropriately by the federal and provincial crown, it would be a benefit to all First Nations and British Columbians.
The First Nations Wild Salmon Alliance says Ottawa should create a First Nation-led plan to protect salmon. The alliance is worried the federal government will not follow through on its promise to ban open-net salmon farms by 2029. But other First Nations in rural areas who work with aquaculture say a ban on the industry will hurt the people who live in those areas.
So we look to continue those government-to-government discussions to build a responsible transition plan that acknowledges the $1.6 billion input to the economy that this sector brings, but more importantly, the 750 full-time jobs that exist in rural, remote First Nations communities where one job really supports 2 or 3 families sometimes. And so for activists in the downtown Vancouver area to tell these remote communities that they can't do something that brings economic livelihood to their territories is irresponsible.
Smith adds, while they are developing aquaculture, he says they are also taking significant steps to protect salmon habitat. It's been a long time coming. The Toronto Blue Jays are American League East Division champions for the first time in a decade. That story coming up. Plus,
the last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service.
A warning if you're renting a car while on vacation, what your rental might not include. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down $2.27, closing the day at $63.45 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $46 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both finished the day higher, up 210 points and 68 points, respectively. A court hearing focusing on Hudson's Bay's Royal Charter was adjourned today after another unsolicited bid emerged. The company says it needs more time to think about its next steps. The retailer wants permission to auction the document that established the company in 1670. Anyone interested will have to bid at least $15 million and agree to permanently donate the charter to a Canadian public institution or museum. The world's tallest bridge is now open to traffic, soaring over a massive canyon in southwest China. The Huanjiang Grand Canyon Bridge rises 625 meters high. For a point of reference, the Shangri-La Hotel in downtown Vancouver is 200 meters high. The new bridge stretches nearly 2,900 meters across. It will be functional and serve as a tourist destination with a glass observation deck and adventure activities. That is one very high and long bridge for sure, eh?
I'm afraid of heights. I don't know if I could do that
You don't want to do that? You're afraid of heights. Oh, interesting. I'm just afraid when I'm like hiking and I'm right on the edge of a drop-off. But a bridge, probably not.
I don't know. That's pretty high bridge. Incredible, though. Wow.
Very incredible. Okay, so we definitely had some rain today, and maybe some more in store or some sun on the way?
There's actually some rainbows happening out there right now. I've been seeing people's social media. It's quite incredible, actually. After some heavy rain, it's now tapering off. So we're going to see some lulls through the overnight tonight. Still a chance of showers, but at least it is tapering, and it's actually a gorgeous night out there right now. Today's high was 16.8 degrees, so very average as far as our daytime high. Above average for our low today, and we're still hovering in that vicinity there. And we broke a record in 1988 at 22.6 degrees. Air quality statements still in place, as you can see. West Columbia, Kootenay region, North Okanagan, Central Okanagan area. So here's our weather tracker. So we are going to be seeing a few showers tapering off through the evening tonight, and then tomorrow morning for Truth and Reconciliation Day, we are going to be seeing some sunny breaks, which is fantastic, and then it really amps up in through the evening tomorrow again. So enjoy the breaks and the lulls, especially tomorrow morning. That timing is perfect. Here's a look at your rain tracker. About 15 to 25 millimeters expected with the next round of rain tomorrow. It's going to be the North Shore, Squamish that's going to get hit the hardest. Pitt Meadows, 23 degrees. So taking you around the North Island, Port Hardy showers, 16 degrees. So we're right on seasonal temperatures for tomorrow. Tofino, 13 degrees. We might see a few breaks for Nanaimo as well. Victoria, 15, mostly overcast with those showers hanging around. So likely to see some sunshine up the sea to sky, and then out towards the Fraser Valley, we are expecting to see some sunshine in the mix tomorrow morning as well. So late day rain, showers do continue as we head in all the way till Friday. So we do have some soggy days ahead. We're saying goodbye to September with, very seasonal conditions, and that by Saturday, sun and cloud, and we're warming up to 19 degrees as we head into next week. So it's going to be gorgeous by then. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations.
Wow, okay, 19.
Rainbows outside right now, some hope in the 7-day. We'll take it.
That's crazy. I can wear shorts again.
Let's
Fabulous.
do it.
All right,
yes.
Thanks for that, Stephanie. As car manufacturers try to make vehicles more efficient, many are now removing the spare tire, which can be a surprise if you get a flat. The car may have a smaller donut-sized tire, but many only come with an inflator kit, which may not be enough to get you back on the road. CTV's Pat Forn has more.
Sally Jerkaba and James Dawson of Oshawa were on a holiday in Spain last fall. They rented a car and stopped to get supplies, but when they went back to their rental, two people were acting suspicious around the vehicle. They got on the highway, and 20 minutes later, they had a flat.
We both looked at each other and said, no one's coming to help. Let's change the tire.
But when they went to get the spare tire out of the trunk, they got a surprise.
He opens the hatch, pulls out all the luggage, lifts up the cover, and there's no tire.
I was frankly shocked. Growing up in Canada, we always have a spare tire.
While they were trying to deal with the flat tire, a man came out of long grass on the side of the road claiming he could help.
He was pretending to be a good Samaritan. Someone came out of the culvert, an accomplice of his opened the door and grabbed my purse with our passports, all our documents, money, and grabbed James's camera bag.
The couple was left stranded for the next 7 hours. They couldn't get through to Avis, their rental company. We also reached out to Avis, but did not get a response. On the company's website, it says the manufacturer may not have equipped your car with a spare tire. They may provide an inflator and seal kit. You should check the vehicle before you leave with the car.
We had the assumption that there would be a spare tire.
Lisa Glass and Matt Barber of Toronto vacationed in Newfoundland this summer. They rented a car and also got a flat tire. They were shocked to find out the car did not come with a spare.
The last thing anyone wants is to be stuck on the side of a road in a remote area with no cell phone service, with no spare.
Jerkaba and Dawson wanted to share their story, not just to warn about rental cars not having spares, but also to beware of criminals who may give you a flat tire so they can rob you on the side of the road.
It's not worth fighting over camera gear or personal belongings. It's personal safety that matters.
Why a 75-year-old took a leap of faith from an airplane. That's coming up. Plus, artistic athlete. When Adam met a man drumming in his front yard, he never expected to hear a story about an athlete overcoming adversity. That's coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's a preview of your Morning Vancouver.
How difficult has it become to keep Metro Vancouver transit safe? Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, more on a documentary highlighting the drug and mental health crisis unfolding on Canadian transit systems. And for the first time ever, the Vancouver Whitecaps and Vancouver FC will go head-to-head, and the stakes are high. We'll get a preview of the All-Vancouver Canadian Championship final. We're back after the holiday. See you Wednesday morning.
Bad Bunny will headline the Super Bowl halftime show. The Puerto Rican superstar has topped Spotify's most streamed artist list in 3 of the past 5 years and just wrapped a historic residency in his home country. The announcement follows a recent interview where the artist said he was avoiding the U.S. on his current world tour because of concerns that ICE agents might raid concert venues. The Toronto Blue Jays are American League East Division champions for the first time since 2015. Now Jays fans are looking ahead to what they hope will be a long postseason run, with many hoping the team can reach the World Series for the first time in 32 years. CTV's Sean Lathong tells the story.
A celebration a decade in the making. The Toronto Blue Jays are American League East champions.
It's a very fulfilling feeling because this group is so close. And, you know, it's the first division title in a long time here. So I'm happy for every fan in the city.
Clinching the division at home on the last day of the season is a statement, but not an ending, according to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I love this team and I love the city, so I feel so happy to win with this city.
Where do we go from here?
Job is not finished, so we got to keep going and we got to keep winning.
Now that the champagne has dried up, there's a new phrase surrounding this team. We want it all, as fans continue to revel in the excitement.
Absolutely awesome. They deserved it. They worked hard and they ground all season long, got the finish they needed.
Inside the Jays shop, merchandise marking the division champs is going fast.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6 shirts and a hat. Bring back to the family, and yeah, we're all really excited about the postseason.
Divisional champs. My dad was wearing the one from 2015 last night, so I had to get him a new one.
Got to get it updated, eh?
Yeah.
Many of the fans in here were at yesterday's game, and they came from across Canada, like David and Jim Flather from Winnipeg, who attended their first ever home game.
Unbelievable. We show up for our first game and there's a grand slam. I mean, what are the odds?
And a drive to deep left field. Gone!
Alejandro Kirk's first inning grand slam would be all the Jays needed yesterday, bringing 42,000 fans to their feet. 2 of those fans, 8-year-old Isaac and 11-year-old Alex Fairhurst from Calgary, have a positive outlook for the playoffs.
How far can they go?
Really far.
World Series?
Yep.
What do you think?
World Series as well.
And And the Seattle Mariners will also have a first-round bye as they finish with the #2 seed in the American League. The AL West champion Mariners will play the winner of the wild card round between the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Guardians. That best-of-3 gets underway tomorrow morning. The Vancouver Whitecaps spoke to the media today ahead of Wednesday's All-Vancouver clash for the Canadian Championship trophy.
It's a cup game. Everything can happen. You have to be ready, and the only goal is to win it. We don't just want to play it. That's clear for everyone in the group.
The Whitecaps are seeking their 4th consecutive Canadian championship on Wednesday against the heavy underdogs Vancouver FC of the Canadian Premier League. German superstar Thomas Muller's status for Wednesday's game is still uncertain, as is Ryan Gauld, who has been out with an injury since March. This will be the first competitive match between the two teams, who are only separated by 40 kilometers. All right, you guys will like this one, I think, for sure. It is about a 75-year-old Ottawa woman who's proving that for a good cause, you're never too old to take a leap of faith. Linda Wood celebrated her 75th birthday on Sunday by throwing herself out of a plane more than 12,000 feet in the air. While she's dreamed of skydiving for years, she also took this opportunity to fundraise for a cause that's close to her heart. Her jump raised more than $7,000 for Hospice Care Ottawa, where she's volunteered for the past 12 years. After landing safely on the ground, she shared her thoughts on the jump.
It was, oh, I would do it again right now. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
And she wasn't alone, with 3 of her granddaughters also making the leap with her. Now Linda's already thinking about what she's going to do for her 80th birthday. Well, I think she's probably going to do that again.
Fearless. I know. How do you top that?
I know.
Maybe she'll practice enough that she can do it solo.
Maybe. I went skydiving once, but I don't think I would go again.
Once was enough for me as well.
Once was absolutely enough.
Never done it, never planned to.
It's the getting actually out of the plane part that's the worst.
Yeah, I know. Once you're there, it's okay. All right. And just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Lauren Pullen has a look ahead to your late local news. Lauren?
Thanks, Michelle. The BC General Employees Union, and the province were back at the bargaining table today, but those talks did not last long. Picket lines remained up in several spots across BC while those talks were underway. But the BC GEU says it's now broken off negotiations after the province brought no real change in its contract proposal to the table. What does it mean for our public services? We have more on the, quote, escalating strike threats at 11:30.
All right. Thanks for that, Lauren. All right, well, sometimes the death of one dream can open the door to something new. Adam finds out why an accomplished athlete unexpectedly switched his focus to competitive music on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Damien Haliva would never have imagined he'd end up anchored to an instrument when he was a boy.
I was a very adventurous kid. I like to be out doing things.
When Damien loved doing gymnastics more than anything, especially enduring its physical challenges and achieving its lofty goals.
Oh, this could be a possibility for me to actually get into a higher level.
Over the next 5 years, Damien was on track to compete at the highest levels until a debilitating back injury forced him to quit the sport that defined him.
Felt defeated. I feel like I lost something that really meant so much for me.
And then one day, Damien found himself visiting the Highland Games for the first time. But instead of being inspired by all the feats of strength, the young athlete was mesmerized by all the unusual sounds.
I love them.
Damien had never heard bagpipes before and never seen drummers like this.
And my eyes just glued onto it. I'm like, this could be another goal that I could possibly get to.
Despite having no musical experience, the then 14-year-old contacted the folks at the pipe band and started learning how to play the precise rhythms while also performing the complex flourishes.
So one arm could be doing one thing, the other arm could be doing a rhythm.
So you're one of those people who can tap their head and rub their belly at the same time?
Essentially, yes, yeah.
After practicing hours every day for more than a decade, Damien is now an accomplished competitive drummer who's performed with his pipe band to win regional, national, and international competitions.
Wow, this is really awesome, getting to play and perform and seeing everyone just come together.
And seeing how this combination of athletics and artistry can cultivate community, Damien is feeling grateful for his injury. Because without enduring one of the worst times then, he'd never be experiencing one of the best now.
Never give up. Go out and adventure to go see other things that you never thought would be possible.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
That is so wonderful that he found something that he really loves, right?
And he's great at it.
I know.
A lot of practice, though.
A lot of coordination.
Exactly.
I don't know that I could do that either.
Okay, well, look at tonight's Scenic Snapshot. This should brighten your day since we have a very soggy stretch ahead of us with some breaks. But look at this barred owl sent in from North Vancouver. If you'd like to send us your photos, please email scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Beautiful picture there.
Hiding from the rain now, though.
I love a good owl photo.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself.
Good night.